We start today in California, where a gunman has taken the lives of at least 12 people inside a bar just outside of Los Angeles. There, police continue their investigation into possible motives behind this horrific shooting. Natasha Sweatte joins us, and she is live in Thousand Oaks, California, with the latest. Natasha, what is the scene there at this current moment?
Well, Scotty, I mean, this mass shooting was responsible for at least 13 lives that we know right now, including a sheriff's deputy. Now, authorities are saying that it was a college country night at the Borderline Bar and Grill last night, and that's when the suspect barged in without saying a word, and he opened fire.
There was blood everywhere, and the suspect is part of that, and I didn't want to get that close and disturb the scene and possibly jeopardize the investigation.
Witnesses described a chaotic scene at 11:20 p.m. local time last night. People were panicking, throwing bar stools at the window in order to flee the gunshots. Taylor Whitler said that she was in the middle of a dance line when she had to run for cover.
I was on the dance floor dancing at the time, and then all my friends were at the table right by the door, and then I heard the gunshot. I turned around and I saw him shoot a couple more times.
They were very, very loud gunshots. They were very clear what they were, you know. It was definitely not the music.
One of the confirmed dead is Ventura County Sheriff Sergeant Ron Helis, a 29-year veteran of the force. Authorities say he responded to the shooting within at least 4 minutes. Helis was reportedly on the verge of retiring within a year or so. A procession from the hospital took place about 2 hours ago. Many were shedding tears, holding up American flags in silence as police drove Helis's body from the hospital where he passed. Well, the president showed his gratitude to law enforcement, tweeting great bravery shown by police. Flags at the White House are flying at half-staff in honor of the victims. And we're told the gunman, 28-year-old Ian Long, died inside the bar. The former U.S. Marine, dressed in all black, is being described as a white male tattooed, wearing a trench coat as he entered the bar. Now, investigators say the FBI and deputies visited Long's nearby home and are in the process of obtaining a search warrant. The sheriff just confirmed that deputies visited Long's home last April for a disturbance call. A mental specialist was called to that scene. As for last night, authorities say they believe Long shot himself. We're told that classes at California Lutheran, which is nearby, were canceled for the day. Now, Scotty, I mean, one of the reasons why this story is so shocking to so many is because Ventura County is one of the safest cities in the country. And so we also know that a lot of victims, possibly dozens, took themselves to the hospital last night. And so as we speak, there is a blood drive happening at a local high school. And then you can see also at the bottom of the screen, there is a hotline number because some loved ones are still missing. So it's for people to call in and hopefully be reunited. Scotty.
Thank you, Natasha. You've been there all day. I know it's been a long day and more to come. Now we go to retired Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal Matthew Fogg. Thanks for joining us on a very somber occasion. What do we need to know about the way law enforcement is responding to this shooting?
Well, I think we need to know that law enforcement is doing everything that within their power to get to the bottom of the motive of this individual, why he did what he did. Certainly, our condolences go out to the law enforcement family, the sheriff that was killed, and the first responder, and I think they're doing everything they can. You know, they're looking into the records, trying to figure out a motive, whether if he acted alone or were there other people involved. So they're doing a very extensive job in looking for this, to try to figure this thing out.
Well, having been a former U.S. Marshal yourself, you've obviously been involved in crisis situations like this. What exactly happens the moment you get that phone call as a law enforcement official that there is possibly some sort of mass shooting that's happening? What's those first few steps, those first few hours? What's going on?
Well, the first few hours is to make certain that the safety, everybody's, if there's anybody in danger, how do we get there? How do we protect lives? That's the first thing off your mind. After you've got the area secured, then the next thing is to try to figure out why it occurred, if there's anything else happening anywhere outside of that particular location, but you want to make certain that everybody's safe and you've got it secured, and then you try to figure out what exactly happened. Those are the first things you want to do.
Absolutely. Now, talking about what exactly happened, let's talk about the shooter, because law enforcement had several interactions with the shooter over the last few years. If he was on their radar, do you think there was any way they could have actually done more to prevent a tragedy like this?
I guess, you know, when you second guess everything, you might look back. They can look at some of the statements or whatever this individual said when they interviewed him. Certainly he was, you know, anybody in the military, I'd say that has been in the war, you're going to probably most likely have post-traumatic stress syndrome from if you've had any type of combat action. So that's what you really want to be concerned with. And the fact that law enforcement officers did go to this guy's home, did speak to him. Somebody dropped it a little bit, I would say. Somebody missed something. But again, I wasn't there. I wasn't part of the interview. So, but the fact is this person did have a history. So law enforcement knew who he was. And then he was able to take this, he had training. And that's the other thing. He had this Glock, which is a very powerful weapon, a 45. You can take down an elephant with a 45. So bottom line is he went in. They should have known if this guy had weapons prior when they went and interviewed him. I don't know if that question was asked him. If he did have a weapon, they should have said, well, we'd like to hold on to this weapon until we make sure everything is all right. But it's a lot of things I can second guess now to try to figure out what happened. But the fact is he did go forward and he did commit this very heinous act that has, you know, cost a lot of lives.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, he did purchase the firearm legally,
right,
but he put on it an extended magazine. What is the significance of this for those that might be unfamiliar with firearms?
Right, that magazine allows you more shots. I mean, you can put up, I think, 30-something rounds on that magazine. Most times we carry the Glock. We have about 15 rounds we can get off. So that's doubling your capacity to be able to kill and shoot people or use it to cover yourself for whatever you want to do. So, and then you're using a 45, which is a very powerful round that is going to, that thing is going to cut through people like butter. I mean, basically, if you got people in a crowd, you fire one round, it's going to go through a whole bunch of folks before it stops. So the bottom line is he had the power, he had enough power with that 30-round magazine, if he had that many, to just shoot for a little while and kill a lot of people.
Well, Matthew, thank you for helping us try to understand a very understandable situation, and thank you for your service.
Sure, thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.